Welcome to Every Day with an Angel podcast. I am Natasha Venter, and I am a multi-life intuitive. I'm also a energy seer. I'm also one who sees past lives. I also go into emotions, grief, and help people go through what they go through. And I want you to remember that your truth is your truth, as this is a podcast to bring out your truth. And I want to make that true for you because these are just insights that I have from my life and what I'm given from my guides and maybe a little bit from your guides, right? So, in my intuitiveness, I try to bring in those stories of who you are and where you're at, right? So, coming into this, I want you to remember that you are loved. What today's show is going to be about is your body. Last week, I was on a show with Regan Forston, who we talked about the body and about how the illnesses and what we think can really affect our bodies, right? Well, that's a truth. So if you want to catch up on that, you can go to my YouTube channel, Natasha Venter AC, and see that show that I did with Regan Forston because it's not on YouTube or on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram here, you can catch that on my YouTube channel. And if you're on a podcast somewhere, because this will be on podcast later, and if you want to see it visually, then you can go to my YouTube channel again, and Natasha Venter AC. I'm also on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, and a lot of those things. So I'm pretty much everywhere, posting weekly on my shows here. So Monday through Friday is when I usually post. But I hope those 2 little minute videos were very inspirational. And yesterday I posted one on about our time here on this planet, right? That a lot of us struggle with where we're at. And people always think, Natasha, you're beautiful. You don't need to worry about it, right? Well, I do consciously think about things, right? I'm at that age. Yes, I'm at that age where things are happening. Throat wrinkles, skin is getting a little bit of here and a little bit there, right? And I'm conscious of it. I want to help my body do a little bit better, right? But we all have this thing that we have to be perfect. And that's, if you watch any of those little short videos, things on TikTok or on Facebook or Instagram or any of those little, because they all kind of cross reference from one platform to another, right? That it's about how do we look for ourselves and how do we feel about ourselves. And yes, guys, girls, anybody can feel a little bit indifferent about their energy, right? The way that they feel and how they look, because of the fact that, it's out there in the world right now um, where we're being pelted by beauty. We have to be beautiful. And I can tell you that through a lot of my life, I did not feel beautiful. It's just been in the last couple of years where I've come into my empowerment, right? That I felt like, oh, I actually could be a little bit more beautiful than not, but I want to be more beautiful inside than outside. But yet at the same time, though, I do care. And I've been lucky. I had a grandmother who didn't really get gray until she was, she passed away, not gray. I can tell you that. She had gray little hairs going through. But my dad was gray at 35. And I'm like hoping, hi, Soba, how you doing? Long time no hear from. And I'm just so grateful that you're here. And I'm praying that everything is going well with you and your family and that you are doing, oh, what a blessing that things are happening. And I hope your daughter. Oh, I hold her in so much healing help. And I'm wanting you to know that I do think of her quite often and send healing love that way for you. And your family, because I know that your family had to go through a lot, just, witnessing your daughter in that moment, because I know she's got siblings. So I just want you to know that things are happening. That, going into this, what are we going to do about ourself and our self-image? We've been bombarded by life. We've been bombarded by health And hi, Veronica. And we've been bombarded by a lot of things that have been happening in our lives. And oh my gosh, how we treat our body when we're younger is how our body's going to feel when it's older. That's what I was, and a lot of us are already, moving through life, right? But how we treated our body when we were younger is always the image I had, even when I was younger, is how I'm going to feel when I'm older. So I always honored my body that way. And I know that for me that, you know, my husband and I are the same age, and he's more crickly. Well, he's a guy and he's had to have a rougher life. He was a mechanic most of his life. He was really playful. He was one of those active guys. I don't know how many times he told me that he fell out of a tree, right? And so, his body's a little more crickety, but we're the same age. But I also understand that I need to take care of my body. So I've been taking a lot of magnesium, a lot of D, a lot of E, a lot of A, a lot of, this fish oils. And I've been really working on things that way to get the inside of me, keep it liquid and movable. And, as the saying always said, if you lose it or if you don't use it, you lose it. And I can tell you, I need to move more. And, it's going into that story of where are we at and what are we going to do and who are we and what's happening, right? But we cannot look on the outside for our beauty a lot of times. We have to look on the inside for our beauty and our knowings. Because I can tell you that, people could have told me I was beautiful when I was younger, and I wouldn't have believed them, right? Even though I did have looks. And I look back on some pictures and I go, boy, I haven't really changed over the years. But at the same time, though, how I perceived myself was different over the years. What are we going to do with this? Where are we going to go with this, right? Who are we? Who are we defined by? And that's the thing that I'm noticing as I'm gritching over the years here. And, I know that a couple of the people who are watching here can tell you that, there's a couple of times in this journey of life that, it's like, even something that I looked at something in the spring and I'm changing already here 6 months later. The body likes to do things in its timing, and we have to be aware of it. But I can tell you though that your skin is something that can heal within reason. I know that I've been using castor oil lately, and it's not perfect. I can use other things with it. I've heard witch hazel and stuff like that. But that's the thing is that we all have these things that we can use. And I know that a lot of the pharmaceutical things that have been happening in our lives that, I can tell the difference in my skin when I eat sugar and when I don't eat sugar, right? Because my body is so attuned to things, and but I kind of have to have sugar once in a while. My body just says, my mind and my taste buds just say, please, right? So what do we do with that? Where do we go with that? And, it's like, people always say, I have a friend down in California and I love her, but Californians, what facelift can I get? What tuck can I get? She says, Natasha, your eyes, they're thick lidded or heavy lidded, right? What would happen if you, lifted up here? And I have a great eye doctor, right? I go, yeah, but actually, no. Uh, it's it's that story. So going into this, and Sue, thank you very much for saying this. So what it is, so you said, when I looked the best on the outside, I felt the worst about myself on the inside. Today is another day way around. It's another day around. I totally agree. I had someone who I knew, and you know, she was a little bit older, and her health got really bad, uh, confining for her, and she gained, quite a bit of weight, right? And so, then Veronica says, I've started talking, oh, I started taking cholesterol, I mix it in water. I really am feeling looking better. Yes, exactly. So we're all going to find some things that work with us, right? But I'm going to say though that my friend who I was talking about, she says Natasha, and I was starting to do her hair when I was in my 20s, and she said, Natasha, enjoy what you have now, because I'm going to tell you that when I was back in my 30s, I wish that I weighed less. And she said that now that I'm at the age I am, I wish I had that body back then, but I never appreciated it. And that right there, and I'm so grateful for my elders. I was also, my mom was in garden clubs. And so I would hear these 80-year-old women saying, my hands are in the dirt and I'm moving them and I can keep moving them even though they have arthriticness, right? So with that, and I got that, keep your hands in the dirt. That doesn't necessarily mean constantly dig in the dirt, but it's keep them moving, keep them going, right? And that's the thing is that I really appreciated my life. Now, there's times right after kids when I was in stress, like right now that I'm weighing the same thing that I did when I had my kids, right? So my body has been negotiating a little bit of weight. People would look at me and think, no, but yet I do, right? Because I'm human. And so with that, going into this, it's about negotiating our world and negotiating what we're doing, that, how do we perceive ourselves right now? And, what I have witnessed in life is that if I can appreciate where I'm at now, and I can tell you that there's been times in my life I was in so much pain with my shoulders that my husband can see my shoulders spasming. And, I had other scenarios going in that when I could appreciate the moment that I was, accept it for what it was, where I was at, that if I could accept it, negotiate it, be with it, that it actually started to change. Because the fact that sometimes you have to accept something to give it a platform so you can bounce off of it, right? So you can bounce off of it. And that's the thing is that I noticed that, okay, I want to accept, I'm honoring my body where it's at. I'm wanting to negotiate this where I'm at the same time, I want something to shift. What do I want to shift? I want to shift my um, insulin resistance, because I know that I was in insulin resistance for quite a while because I was on such a need for food all the time. And it wasn't always the healthy food all the time. And so when I noticed that, when I started, going past that moment, and like I've been watching a couple of people who are really good. There's a one guy, and I didn't get his name before the show, and I apologize to him because he has his knowings. He's a scientist. He understands things. And Dr. Berg, and then Barbara O'Neill. I've been watching her too, and she does things naturally. So collecting, right? Collecting a lot of what everybody is telling me, what I'm witnessing, things happening here, that I'm getting a better truth for myself. And getting that better truth for myself is really helping me find a better path. So my liver is getting better and healthier, and my body is getting healthier, and I'm not getting such a, this one gentleman. Oh my gosh, I wish I could look him up on my phone, but I can't because of the fact that I'm using my phone on Instagram here. That that he used to be he used to do life insurance and stuff like that, and health insurance, and then he's got shaved, or he's really tight shaved here, and stuff like that, he's been talking about how we can work our body into these different places because he's got scientific backing, right? The thing about life is that when we're really thinking about things, we have to look into, how do we feel about ourselves too? How many times have you not looked in the mirror and said how beautiful you are, no matter what your self-image is, right? Because I can tell you, the more you say it, the more you will believe it. The mind likes to control, yes, but it only controls what it's been told all the time over the years, right? And I can tell you that I have witnessed, like Sue, right? Like you saying, when I looked my best on the outside, I felt the worst on about myself on the inside. Today, it's the other way around, right? But the thing is, though, Sue, when I see you, I see a beautiful woman. When I look at you, Veronica, I see a beautiful woman, right? Soba, oh my gosh, you're a beautiful woman. And whoever else is watching this, you are all beautiful. We have this inner glow, right? We have this inner glow. And, we're going to look different through the day. Like my video last night, I was ready for bed. My makeup had been put on about 4 times because the wind and the rain and stuff was going on. And, my eyes were a little bit tired and things were just happening and life was happening, right? But where are we in our story? you know? And I decided to do that video about looks, about, when we're at our 20s, we wish we were at our teens for looks and skinniness, right? When we're in our 30s, we wish we were in our 20s. When we're in our 40s, we wish we were in our 30s. When we're in our 50s, we wish we were in our 40s and 30s. And then when we're in our 60s, we, in some ways want to be on our 40s and 50s and 30s, right? And then, I've been witnessing a lot of people who are in their elder years, the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and their minds are still in their 20s, but their bodies are not of the younger ages, right? And that's the thing about movement, and that's the thing about doing things. And what are we going to do? And I'm one that I don't do a lot of heavy lifting. My shoulders don't let me. Like I said, that I was in a lot of pain for a long time for about my shoulders. But that's where I got plenty of rocks, right? How can I use my rocks to lift and do things, right? Going into this movement and this story, and thank you, Veronica, you are beautiful. That, it's like, that's a thing that, I can tell you when I'm feeling low about myself, that comes across my face, my knowings, right? When I am, and it's really windy here, so if I lose my internet, I apologize. That, going into this, when I'm eating unhealthy junk food, right? That I feel less here, right? So going into this, how do you feel? And I can tell you that, like watching this gentleman, I'm just so mad that I didn't write it down his name, and I apologize again. That, like he was saying that people who get the slumps around the 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right? What do? You usually don't eat until about 10 o'clock. So if you can, get some protein within 20 minutes of waking up. And then eat again when you can eat, like around 10 o'clock or whatever that time is. And then, but don't be afraid to be hungry, but get the protein in you. And you know what? Since I've been doing that, oh my gosh, I have more leveled energy, especially if I stay off the sugar. And I can tell you that if you're here in the US, that the US government likes to keep us unhealthy. I love you, United States government, but at the same time, there's somebody who does not like us to stay healthy, right? So a lot of the things that are not legal in other countries are legal here, right? Hi, Whitney. Thank you for being here. And so looking into our bodies and looking into who we are, looking into what we're doing, we have to look into our self-image, because I can tell you, the way you think is the way you're going to feel, right? The way you think is the way you're going to feel. And when we're feeling down about ourselves, that's when we're going to feel more down about our bodies, right? And our self-image is amazing with that. And so with that there's a lot of times I wake up and the first things out of my knowings when I first wake up is that, Natasha, you're healthy, you're wise, you have knowings, Natasha, you're brilliant, you have this gift of being available to be loving, and I'm grateful for you. Skin, digestive system, heart, blood, whatever you are wanting to be, I'm grateful for you and thank you for being healthy as you can be, right? When I'm going to bed, I'm thinking the same thing. And I actually talk with my skin. Skin, thank you, because it is an organ, right? Our skin is an organ. And we forget that our skin is an organ. And going into this organ that, it's that understanding that, being who we are is not necessarily anything that is a sorry, I just got a message uh on on YouTube, and it threw me off for a minute because it's not feeling quite right, but I gotta think. So, Sue, is this a language that you understand? So thank you for being here, everyone. But please keep your comments nice. Going into this, that how we again perceive ourselves is what's going to make a difference. And I, Natasha Venter, an intuitive medium, and my dad being a chiropractor from day one, I learned that treating our amazingness, treating our bodies as, I don't want to say a temple, but I know that a lot of us are struggling with digestive systems, and because we haven't been digesting our life, and or we've been really plagued with a lot of things. And this is the one thing that our US government is starting to say is that, like cereal is better for you than a steak or chicken, right? Because it doesn't have all the good or or vegetables. Now I can tell you that I can't eat raw vegetables very well. My digestive system doesn't like raw vegetables very well. But if I steam them for, let's say, not in the microwave, but steam them on the stove, because I try to use my microwave as little as I can, that when you steam them, it breaks them down and opens them up a little bit, and that gives your body a chance to break it down. And I know for me that that I run a little bit light on my digestive enzymes, so I use digestive enzymes. And the ones that I use is digestive tea, and you can find them on Amazon. I don't like to do Amazon very much, but there's certain things that you can only get certain places. But digestive enzymes, and I've been trying to take mine in the morning, thinking, oh, I need to take it with my meal in the afternoon. No, in the evening. No, I need to take it so that I get the digestive enzymes going in my body. Because if you're not digesting your food well, your face is going to look like, or your body is going to feel like, your joints. And as I was, touching my hands on those on a podcast later, that moving your fingers and moving your joints, that if you eat things, you're going to feel a little bit more congested. And I can tell you, I've been eating a little bit of sugar lately, and my fingers are a little stiff, right? Not that I say that my body is stiff. I'm actually pretty good, but I can tell that there's a little bit. And going in and drinking a lot of these drinks, even though we think that they're good, but look at the side effects. There's those things, and like what they're putting in our cereal and a lot of our food is that you look, and there's one, and I don't have the name of it, and I apologize, but it's actually a compound that you can use for construction, that is called, that you have to do the poison control, right? Well, that's in our cereal. Food or things that in construction that you have to call for poison control is actually being put in our food. And we wonder why we're not feeling very good. So I would suggest to you, I'm just suggesting because, like I said at the beginning of the show, your truth is your truth. Find your truth. Thank you. It's a bot. Okay, thank you. I will block them. Thank you. Hide, block. To do, ban and delete. Thank you. There we go. Thank you, Sue. Thank you for being on the backside of what I'm doing here. Thank you. I appreciate it. Um, that uh it's one of those things that going into this, really look at how are your food processes. And I can tell you that I used to eat those I love shredded wheat, right? And I used to eat those whole big block ones, and I would drizzle a little bit of homemade or natural sugar because or not sugar but honey. And I can tell you if you get honey in the bear, it's not good honey. It's processed and it's not local. And your local honey can actually help you with a lot of allergies and stuff like that. So going into this, that that I used to drizzle some honey on it and then just put a little bit of milk, just enough to moisten those wheat, right? But now I wouldn't want to eat those if somebody paid me to, because of all the byproducts, and our wheat is not as good as it used to be because things have happened. That's why people say, you see these little videos about how, hey, I'm sitting in Italy and I'm eating wheat. What is this? I live in the United States. I can't eat anything with gluten in it, but I'm eating wheat here, right? So going into how we are and what's happening in our story, and going into those understandings that our mind and our bodies matter. How we treat them now is not always how we can feel when we're older. But I go to the chiropractor every 3 weeks, right? Just to keep me going. Because I get migraines a lot. I get, my oxys and occiput, like to do a little twisting story, right? So going into this, remembering your truth is your truth, but how do you negotiate your physical health? You have to find the truth. I went through a phase where I wanted peanut butter and celery. Now I don't hardly eat any peanut butter because my body needed something of those nutritions, right? At that time. And now my body isn't craving those so much. But I can tell you that there for a while, my body has been craving blueberries. I don't care for blueberries in the past, but now I'm making blueberry pancakes and I'm getting a good pancake mix because I could make my own, but there again, but and then I'm adding a little protein powder into it, and then I'm putting blueberries in. And so I'm adding quite a few blueberries in, and I like them cooked, but I like things more cooked. I've always liked my fruit more cooked. I always like my vegetables more cooked than raw, because of the way that my body negotiates it. So, going into this, check and see what it is. If you don't know what that ingredient is, Google it, right? Google it and see. Because I can also say that there's a lot of us, and going back to this man that I don't remember his name, like he was saying, that there's a lot of people that cannot handle digesting folic acid. At least folic acid in the way that the food is, where the way it's put in our food, right? And that's the thing is that us women have been told that we want to have folic acid for when we're having babies, right? But a lot of us cannot process folic acid, and or at least in the man-made way. And we're eating things with that folic acid, and it's amazing how people were wondering why our kids aren't being able to study, right? And then those red dyes and the yellow dyes, and like I was here at Christmas time, and they don't get anything with the red dye because my grandson can't handle it. He turns into an angry kid, and there's so many medicines out there that have the red dyes, right? But then there was the blue dye in the drinks, and one of the kids basically could not sit still. He was fine. He was getting into my stuff. He was getting into stuff. He was getting into this. He was getting into that. Loved them. Loved them. But it was a little bit. And the next day, when they didn't have that drink, they were calmer. They were still wound up. They were boys. Every boy needs to move. Every kid needs to move, right? But at the same time, though, he didn't have that extra, I can't sit down, right? So be careful of how that is. But I can tell you, though, when I go back to this, the way we think about things is the way that our body feels. So how many times have you told your digestive system that you like it or that you love it? How many times have you actually massaged your gut and said, thank you for digesting, right? How many times have you said to your skin, I love you. Thank you for being the organ that you are. It's the biggest organ we have. And it absorbs so much, right? So us wearing a lot of spandex makes you go, right? Because our body is absorbing some of that PPT, a lot of things are made with petroleum. Right? So we're absorbing petroleum and we wonder why we're feeling a little icky. I'm not perfect myself, but I'm just suggesting, think about it. Think about what we're doing and where we're at and what's going on. Because I know for me, just because I get so staticky, that I go for more cotton type of clothes. And that's been helping, I think, because every time I wear certain clothing, I either get more staticky or I feel off. I just feel like my skin starts to crawl. But my skin says, get it off of me, right? So be careful of how you are negotiating your world, because some of these clothes that we wear over and over again feel so comfortable, right? And probably by then, a lot of things have been washed out because we've been washing it over and over again. So be prepared to be where you're at. And I can tell you, accepting things where they're at helps us to have the platform to move on. And, I'm digesting my life. I'm digesting my life. I'm digesting my life. That's a mantra that I use quite a bit, especially when I'm going through a lot of stress. And stress has something to do with our bodies, right? So how do you handle and manage your stress? We wear our stress. As I touch my face, those on podcast, it's like, how are we going with this? Tomorrow is another day. Our world is changing. Oh my gosh, our world is changing. And yet we're still stuck in the 3D world of how do we look? I'm not denying I like to feel good about myself. That's not what I'm talking about. But I can tell you that me having surgery is not the first story I'm going to do. I'm going to actually go to castor oil. I'm actually going to go to changing my diet. I'm actually going to go to doing facelifts, right? When I wash my face, right? I strengthen up my muscles in my face. And so I actually am doing I'm actually lifting up. And that actually is helping a lot of this, right? Is when, right? What can we do with that? I've been doing that for years. Whenever I wash my face, try not to make noises, but it's a thing, right? So We come by things honestly, but at the same time, we can work with what it is because we can roll things on. Yes, it feels good. We can roll things on. We can use moisturizer. I've been using a really good moisturizer, yes, but I have to moisturize the inside of my skin. How many of us don't drink just natural water? Good water, not tap water, but good water, right? And is water good? It depends. Like right now, I'm buying bottled water because we live on a well, and our well water isn't as good as I want it to be. But I'm getting the plastics from the bottled water, right? But I try to drink it in a glass, right? So going into this, who are we? What are we going to do about it? Do what you can with where you're at and bless it. And when we can bless it, thank it, be with it, it has a chance to change. Like I said, that when we get to a platform, thank you for being the way you are. I honor you for where you're at. Can we do a little different though? Because I want to feel healthier. No yet, no but. Can we? I'm offering. I'm in desire of. I'm calling in, right? So get the platform where you're at so that you can feel better. Tomorrow's a new day. We're going to be able to do it. I'm kind of debating here. There's somebody here that's tapping into me that I want to channel, and I haven't quite figured out who it is. Oh, it's white calf buffalo woman, and she's Mother Mary and in another form, but she might have some skills from the Native American. So give me a moment here. And then after this, I'll be pulling some oracle cards. So if you want some oracle cards, please wait. I have them ready to go. Okay. White calf buffalo woman. Ah, to those who come forward and be with me. I, white calf buffalo woman, understands the grace that has with the body. I, being of the Navajo nation, come into the story of being in our bodies. The more grounded you are, the more that you realize how things can be. Come back to the roots of your ancestors. Your bodies want to be of ancestor. Many of you are deferred out to being from many of the peoples. You are called the ones that are many faces. So when you are many faces of many nations, of many knowings, you are discerning the difference in your bodies. Know that when you come into this, check in to see how your food is being done, cooked, made, and where the integrity is. Like this one here I was with in the grocery store, and she asked where some chicken came from. And the butcher said, these chickens come from down in Arkansas area, and these chickens come for your Northwest. Those differences can make a difference in your story. Go to those places, even if it's $1 more, and get what you can to feel your betterness. It will make a difference. Also, when was the last time you blessed your food before you ate it? Having the Reiki energy of the story of where you're at can help shift the change of your story of your food. Even if you're one that cooked it, hey, you can always add more love into it, right? Organic is something that is important, yes, but yet remember that nothing is truly organic. It could be just less. And that there is important. Less. Less is more. Your body has been told that it doesn't like to be uncomfortable. Yet uncomfortableness is something that helps it. How many of my nations, of the first ones here on this world, did they actually did they actually go hungry? And did that do their bodies well? Yes. Yes, it did because they were used to it. So, going into this, remember, come back to basics. Teas, coffee. Yes, coffee is good, but what do you put in it, right? So, go into your teas, going into your waters, going into all these stories of who you are can help you be a better self. Your world is going to be changing quite quickly in the next few years. And so, with that, your body is going to be very important in how it walks. Listen to it. Listen to its discomfort to tell you it is not ready. This one can tell when she has too much sugar because she starts to spin. Just a little. But going into this story of who you are will be a grace. Us in the Navajo Nation on the dry land, we learn to work with the land, the herbs, and the stories. Remember, don't you always have to go to the grocery store to get what is good for you? Find your local person. Find the person who knows the integrity of where they're getting something. That is called somebody who knows what they are doing. We do not have to know all the time. This one knew in many lifetimes how to work with herbs. The lifetime she has said no. She knows enough though. She knows enough to listen to her body. So believe in who you are. Many of you have worked with Reiki energy. Do you realize you can do Reiki energy on yourself and in yourself? There is a vibration of that Reiki energy that is all also healing. It's a vibration. No hands needed. Hands do help. Create the energy ball in your hand. Feel that energy ball and put that energy ball over your body. Have that Reiki energy come from the inside out. Let us help you, your guides, to get that. Do your story. And remember, it's time to, as this dear one put this right here, to believe in you. Believe in your story. Believe in your consciousness. You are changing. This next month will be big and shifting for you. Hold on to that difference of love for yourself, that groundingness. And remember, your body is, as this one says, the skeleton of your soul. So know that as your soul surrounds you, let it work with your body and the healing. Know that no matter where you're at and what's going on, you are safe in our hands. I, White Calf Buffalo Woman, Mother Mary, Kuan Yin, Mahahuine, Life Storyteller, am one that can be who you are in many other names, other nations that know me as I am. I want you to remember I am mother and love. I walk with the white buffalo as the white buffalo brings magic to you. Let the white buffalo teach you and show you how to walk into the storms of your life and see the betterness of it so that the storms can pass. Be your higher self and know you are loved. So be it. Aho. Namaste. Wow. Well, I hope that helped, that message. Woo! I haven't channeled white buffalo, but I've channeled Mother Mary before, but not in that form. And that was a different feeling. And that's the thing that when we're going into this, taking me a minute here, so trusting the process of what's coming out intuitively for me, that we're all in the midst of big changes. This year is going to be an amazing year. And taking care of us, believing that we are amazing, that we can heal, that we can do what we are, and believe that we are not alone, right? As this angel is faceless. But the thing is, though, she's only faceless because every angel is unique for you. It's time to believe in you. So, at this point, it's 47. If you are looking for an oracle card, let me see who wants to come out. I am thinking the Ascendant Masters will be one. So these cards look like this. Ascendant Masters. Also, I'm going to do, actually Dragon wants to come out. I was just going to say two. So dragons will come out because it is the year of the dragon. Chinese year of the dragon. Who's been finding their dragon? If you want to find out who your dragon is, in a session, I can help you out with that because we're all got dragons with us. And remember, I'm Natasha Venter. I am a multi-life intuitive. I am one who really loves to help you go through your life in knowing your world. And as Sue, I'm grateful for these words, bridge between worlds and dimensions, that I can really support you in this knowing of where you might have come from, where things are at, what is happening. And thank you, Veronica, Ascendant Masters. And I knew that. Remember, you're talking to a dyslexic here, so I can totally understand that's what you meant. Because that's what I read was Ascendant Masters, not what you wrote. Okay, Veronica, you know the ritual. Anybody on Instagram would like a card, we can do that too. So, Veronica, align with what you're looking for your message. There we go. Okay. This is for Veronica. What is her greater knowing? Okay. Need a card soon, please. No, not all of them. Okay, Veronica, let me do this. There we go. Okay, I'm actually feeling this one and this one. Okay, so Thoth is one. And remember, he is always known as endings with beginnings. He's always been known as, like I work with Azrael about the, I know how to say his name, and I apologize, that about writing. So remembering when we have a lot in our heads, what do we need to do? We need to release what is in here by writing. Throth. Thoth. And then I also got Mahashi. Listen. And I feel like I'm going to read this one here because this one is calling to me. This is the one I was feeling more first. So listen. And please be patient with me while I read. Today is one of those days with my dyslexia. Okay. So, you can hear divine guidance best by questioning yourself and listening. Shut out noisy situations like telephones, television. Relax in a quiet place. Don't try to make anything happen. Just listen to your thoughts. Breathe in the rhythm of your heart. Then mentally ask the question of your guides and angels. Listen to the loving truth as they speak in your heart, body, and mind. Listen to your own inner truths. Trust your intuition and make action accordingly. Additional meaning to this card is have a quiet retreat. Your guides and angels are talking to you. You are listening. Less talking and more listening is called for right now. Admit your truer feelings to yourself. Listen to what messages, any aches and pains are trying to tell you with your body, talking to you in those ways. Listen. Okay. So is the Buddhist deity of wisdom who holds the sword to cut through illusions and bring in clarity and understanding. Call upon Maharishi for help with understanding divine messages and increasing your intuition to divine intelligence and wisdom. Okay, and then I will send this to you later, Veronica. Okay, Throth. Okay, is there anybody else who would like a card? If not, I will pull a card. You're more than welcome. I will pull a card as a general card for everybody. Let's see. So since nobody else has spoken up, I will do a card. Remember on Instagram, if you were wanting a card, I can pull a card for you too. But this card is in general. What is the message of the Year of the Dragon of the Chinese New Year? What would you like for us to know about how... What is the message, dragons, that you would like us to know? You know what? This one here keeps staying up, and I keep looking at it through my camera. Merlin the Dragon. Merlin the Dragon. And that's all I saw was this little part here. Okay. Pull that one out. Okay. Merlin the Dragon. What a beautiful card. Isn't that a beautiful card? Let me see if I can get it less. So this is 21. Grand Master Dragons. Okay. Merlin. So Merlin says here, continue your journey discovering what you need to learn, understand, and own. Merlin the Dragon, to give him a full name, is an incredibly large, sage old dragon whose message is one of teaching and learning. If he has found his way into your reading today, his message is this: not all things are as they seem. Some are images being reflected back to you in order for you to understand discernment and learn the lesson of self-trust. Only once
you have done this, you will discover how to stand on your own power, your own who you truly are, and own who you truly are. The Grandmaster Dragons are able to shapeshift between their dragon and human or angelic form, in which he in which sorry about that. In whichever just he adopts, Merlin is the teacher of the teachers. So heed his wise counsel. You are unable to teach others until you fully understand the lessons yourself. Once you have mastered those, you are in the position to clarify and ownership and can share your wisdom and integrity and power. Until then, hold your tongue and continue your journey, discovering what you need to learn. Only then will you be in the place of out of authority to share your knowledge with others. If you notice that owls keep crossing your path, know that Merlin is around you, willing and to share his infinite wisdom with you and show you what you need to learn. He will stretch you and often answer questions with another question, encouraging you to seek the answer from within. He is not an easy grandmaster to work with, but he is a guide as well. He will guide you as well. Okay, so but I will get you one. And so this is a time really to discern what we're eating, discern what our thoughts are, discern what we are doing. And Merlin is a great one. Start asking questions. How do I feel when I eat this? How do I feel when I talk to myself in a certain way? How do I feel when I am negotiating my world? Okay, so would you like Dragon Soba or would you like the Grandmasters? And I apologize with the Grandmasters, but I don't always say their name the correct way. Dyslexia. Okay, so if you can tell me, or I'll just go with it. So Grandma is just say Masters or Dragon, please. Okay, Dragon. I love Dragon. I just love Dragon. You're the dragon. Oh my gosh, this is a time for us to gain our power. Ooh. Maybe next week's show I will talk about the dragons. Ooh, that would be a good conversation, wouldn't it? Being the year of the dragon. Coming into we're coming out of Pisces. We're in Piscean energy, and halfway through March, we're going to be getting into Aries, which is fire. So we're going to be starting feeling a little bit of fire in us coming into the middle of March here, around the 20th. So understanding the power of fire might be a good one for us to work with. So okay, so sorry. I'm distracting myself here. Okay, so but just put out there what you were hoping for, or just say, what do the cards want me to know? And then I will. There we go. Okay, dragons, what is the card for her? Remember, if I'm reading a card for someone, if there's there can be a message for you too. Okay, dragons, come out for the one that's for Soba. Okay, Soba, this card right here is one that I was looking for you. It's the one that my eyes kept going to, so I'm trusting that. So this is Lord, oh, please don't. Cthulhu. Lord Cthulhu. Ooh, look at that dragon. Ooh. And look at him. He's got energy in his hands and off his inner gut. So remember, our strength is not of our mind. Our strength is in our knowings. So let me get to that card. So that is 20. Oh, it's a pretty good gust. I've been blown around all day today. As I look. Lord Cthulhu. Okay. You are the change. Okay, this is for you, Soba. But if somebody else gets something out of this card, please remember that it's meant for you too. When Lord Cthulhu first arrived, he lost no time informing me who he was. I am the Dragon Elder and spokes dragon from the Galactic Council. He went to say, if you desire to be able to hold the energies of the fifth and the seventh dimensions, you need to be clear of all your earthly woes and fears and your deep need for control. Ooh, isn't that the story of today with the body and the way we present ourselves, right? We got to take away that control. Your light bodies need to be in alignment with those of the earth and the astrological light matrix. Only then will you become the tool and a tuning device to lift the energies of the planet. As more of you gather together to do this work, the greater will be your chance of bringing lasting peace to Earth. Lord Cthulhu went on to explain why the dragons are here collectively. We have come because lasting peace is achievable on Earth. There are other galaxies beyond your human understanding at this time where it has happened. We dragons are as old as the universe itself and have encountered and witnessed humanity in all its genius through the ages. You are the change. Wow, we are the change. But we have to broaden our perspective, broaden our understanding, broaden who we are. Like you said, less control and more negotiating, right? So, as I go into this story and as we've worked with this, there's been 2 shows. Last week's show with Regan Forston on my YouTube channel was a good one about talking about how our minds and our emotions can affect our bodies, right? This one was about appreciating who we are and understanding that we can heal. I know that for me that, I'm getting a little bit of wrinkly through the skin, right? But what am I doing? I'm asking for love for it. I'm asking my body to work with me. I'm asking for things to happen to enlighten myself. And, I know that as we go through life, we're never going to look perfect. We're never going to be perfect, but please love who you are because you are all magical. And we all our bodies all have a story, right? We've all had surgeries. We've all had things that we've done. We've all had negotiations, right? And our bodies don't always work in the best way that they know how to, but our bodies want to heal. And so if we lighten ourselves without perfectionism, we lighten ourselves without judgment, we lighten ourselves, our angelic self can come in and enlighten us. And I can tell the difference when I am more angelic and when I'm not. Blessings to you on this journey. And remember that as we go through these time shifts and changes, and we go through these life planet changes, that negativity will bring us down. Neutrality, shifting, being able to be movable,
will help us move this world of ours. Blessings on your journey, and remember that you are so loved. Call in the angels. Call in the angels. White calf buffalo woman said she would be here for you, Mother Mary. And know that no matter where you're at, oh, Kuan Yin, I love working with Kuan Yin. Remember to be who you are, because there's only one of you. Blessings to you on this journey, and I will see you next week. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to talk about next week, but it might be about the dragons and the fire. Blessings to you. Happy end of February. Happy new March. March is going to come in. Hold on. And remember, mindset is going to make the difference. Ask for healing on this is a good one. That's a good mantra. Blessings be to you. Bye now.